Hello, everybody. This is 88.7 WRSU FM New Brunswick, and you are listening to Brunch Break with Nala and Pratigna.
This is episode 6, and you're listening to Eat, Pray, Travel. We have a lot to discover because we're talking about travel and culture, and both of us have similar but also really different experiences.
I'm so excited for this episode.
I've been really excited too. I think you more than anything because you had a pretty cool summer.
Yeah.
We're going to tease into, but what were the countries? Guatemala?
I went to Guatemala, Italy, and then in the United States, I went to Seattle and Cali.
Right. Domestically and internationally.
It was a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah,
that
a lot
is a lot.
Energy, money.
Yeah. But also experience.
Yes, experience, memory, space. I love it. I loved everything about it. So we're definitely going to talk about that. Mm-hmm. So when I was writing my notes for this show, I kind of started out with who, what, when, where, why, and how.
Wow,
which
that's
is
a very JMS 5 W's way to start it. Okay.
The thing about traveling is so complex. First, you got to think about who you're going with. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when you're going out to travel, the cheapest way to do it is to go with a group. Mm-hmm. Actually, that's the cheapest way to do it, to go with a group. But, traveling with your family is different than when you travel with your friends.
Exactly.
In comparison to study abroad. What is travel? When you travel is always important in terms of if you're going away, what's the seasons over there? Are you going away like during your weekend? Are you going away during school time? Where are you going? Period. That's just a thing in itself. Why are you going? Are you going away to learn? Are you going away to do activism? To do a favor for somebody? And how are you going to do it? Like in terms of money, time.
Money
is a very big thing. Resources, language barriers. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting.
It's like, it's weird because you think when people say go travel, like people who do it with really nothing on them. I've known friends who did it with a really tight budget, but they didn't really plan much. So it depends on where you go and how you go about it, where you can either plan a lot or you need an itinerary, or I don't know, it's like being type A, type B kind of personality when you travel. So I'm very type A, but I don't want to be when it comes to traveling.
Okay, how come?
Because I feel like you can't control a lot of these experiences. Like, I think it's something you have to be a little spontaneous about, depending on where you are. Because if you want to control it too much, you're not really getting the most out of it.
This is true.
Like, I don't want to, when I go, like, say, for example, if I go to Barcelona, I don't want to do a tour bus. That is the most necessary or logical thing to do if you're first time in Barcelona. Go on a tour bus with random people, meet new people. But I don't want to travel like a tourist. I want to travel like a what is it, a native,
like a local, like a native,
like a native. So that's just what I am thinking about when I think of travel. But other people I know, like especially older generations, I think, like moms, they just need an itinerary, or they need to do everything in advance and just, okay, we'll do this hotel suite, then we'll do this, and do the cruise, and do the art museum gallery. It just feels like a school trip for some people.
Yes.
And that's what works. That's where they get their most, that's where they get their experience the most. But I think it just depends on what kind of personality you have and what kind of travel style you have. But I think it's important to have a good balance of both if it's your first time. You want to be a little careful, especially as a woman traveling alone or with other women, depending on where you go. But yeah, I think it also depends on the experience you have with traveling. But I have no experience.
So, wait, you've never traveled anywhere? Wait, what do you mean? No, because Pratigna, traveling to the city is a thing.
Oh, no, we can hit domestically, locally, and now, internationally.
Right now we're talking about international travel. You've never traveled out of the country.
I was born in India, so I would go back every 3 years. But that's home, That's not even going somewhere new. That's just the motherland. I think.
But you don't do new things when you go over there, aside from visiting your family?
That's like one thing I'm mad about. I have such a big family, Nala, that it's hard. It's hard to get out of the state I'm in because, like, my mom is like this. Like, okay, we have to visit your aunt at 5, and then the next day we have to go visit your grandma, or we have to go visit your cousin's daughter. Like, it's always just a trip to see family and to be respectful and to show face since we're not there a lot, rather than, oh, let's go to Taj Mahal. I haven't done, like, touristy things in India. I haven't seen the Taj Mahal. I haven't seen the Ganga River. I haven't done all these things. Like, I've just been, it just very much feels like home when I go there. It doesn't feel like I'm here, but that's because I was little and I was under control of, with my family. But now that I'm older, I'm sure I'm sure my family would give me like the leniency to do different things, like go to the different bars or clubs or concerts in India, or like throughout the cities, and go to different, populated cities, Mumbai and Delhi, and all these landmarks. So
do you have any friends over there?
I don't. I just have family, but I do have friends here that were also like, go back there.
Okay, yeah, because maybe that could be a thing that
that's
you set up.
That's what we want to do. Yeah, that's something we would do. But anyway, I've done India, but I've also done Canada when I was really little with the whole immigration process. We went to Canada and it was really fun. We did all the touristy stuff, like the really tall tower. Is that like, I think it was Montreal. I think we were in Montreal or Toronto. This giant building, and you kind of lay on the top floor, and it's all glass. The floor is glass.
Okay.
And it's really scary because, you're just constantly thinking if that glass breaks, you're just plummeting to your death. So that was like something cool as like a 7-year-old that I experienced. But besides that, I think with travel, it's hard because everyone's busy, and they always push college students to be like, travel, study abroad. They give so many opportunities and resources, and that's something I missed out on. I definitely didn't take the time to like, apply to these scholarships like you did, and, make the opportunities myself. I always like depended on excuses. Like, I don't have money right now. I can't do this right now. I'm focusing on this, and that. I can't travel. But everyone can really travel if they really want to, on a good budget too. So it's something I'm gonna have to get over because I'm planning a European trip this, after I graduate this summer. So
I'll go with you.
Yes,
I'll go with you. So I kind of want to talk about my friend Mallory, who I met while I was over at Guatemala, because I think that in terms of travel, not only is she just like a travel guru, but like travel inspo. So Mallory travels alone.
Really?
Which already is just like internationally, which is already like, what? Because as a woman, there's so many threats against us worldwide. And so traveling alone is, now, of course, she's white, so it's a little bit differently because when you're colored, but it also depends
on where you go. But there's a list.
Check this out.
Okay.
She went to, oh my God, I'm going to ask her right now because now I'm having such a brain fart. And we're literally talking right now, so it works.
Oh, I love it.
But, oh my God, why am I having a brain freeze?
Do you remember?
Continue.
I'm just gonna. There's a list of the top countries that are unsafe to travel for solo women travelers, which is crazy. So it just like comes to show that she's great if she has been doing this for a while and she's comfortable with it and she knows her way around. I always think it's really good when you're traveling for the first time to be around people that already have experience, wherever they go.
All right, so she's sending me a list. You ready?
Ooh,
and she's
I'm
still
excited.
going.
Wait, a list of places she went?
Yes,
okay,
alone.
Okay.
She solo traveled, and
alone.
I'm gonna lead into. I'm gonna give you a couple details that hit like literally every single point you were talking about. So, oh my gosh, she's so funny. Thailand, Morocco's where she just went, and that's what I was talking about because alone
in Morocco.
And I just said, and she's white, so that's a lot. But Thailand, West India, Bali, Vietnam, Singapore, China, Morocco, UK, and so all of that alone. And the reason I bring it up is because she did it on the most insane budget ever. And while away, she met her absolute best friend, which I think is so inspirational. Because when you go away, you look for an experience. And the best way to have an experience while you're alone is to make other friends, which obviously isn't easy. And so she made her literally lifelong best friend. It's the cutest thing ever.
God, where did they meet?
Which country? She'll probably tell me in a second. She said, okay, I'm done. She sent me more places.
Oh.
Spain and Portugal.
Oh my God.
Mallory, let me know where you guys met. But so when she went to Morocco, we were in Guatemala sometime in June, I believe. No, May. Okay. May, June, both. And so she was talking about how she was going to Morocco and she was going to have to pay for a place to stay because they kind of have these volunteer services abroad where, let's say, for example, something that she did, she'd work at a coffee shop and you don't have to pay for a place to stay because that is your pay.
Oh, so like a homestay. Yeah.
Like a homestay, yes.
Okay, perfect.
And so
you make your keep.
You
earn it, yeah.
You literally earn it.
I love that.
And they give you, in her particular situation, food and drinks were cheaper too because she in the spot where she worked, and then you make all of these friends and they're locals, and now you're living like a native.
A local, exactly.
You feel like a local and a native, and now you're getting accepted by all of these locals and natives because you're literally so embedded in their culture, and you're helping them economically and you're helping them socially. And so, here I'll read you what she's texting me right now.
Okay.
She says they met in Thailand, and then she said workaway. That's what it's called.
Workaway
is what I did in Morocco. Worked at eco lodge with all accommodation and food. And so
I'm gonna start doing that.
That's what I was gonna say. And so for a situation where you're saying that, yeah, I want to travel, but sometimes it's hard to get people together, and also the money aspect of it is just so difficult. Two things to keep in mind is, one, aside from making a friend abroad, seek your friends that also travel.
Yeah.
Because it's so much cheaper when you travel with other people. But two, a work away. It's just so convenient. And there are ways to, when it comes to traveling, the flight and the stay are the most expensive parts.
They are.
Typically, aside from
like food once you get there,
souvenirs and activities. Activities become very expensive. Like, oh my God, we wanted to go ziplining in Guatemala, and it was like $80.
Oh,
you got me messed up if you think I'm paying $80 to go ziplining.
That's why I'd rather just
over the
see
ghetto.
sceneries and beaches.
Exactly. And it's free.
Yeah.
She said, it was amazing. I recommend it to everyone. It's an amazing way to understand and learn about new countries and culture and really immerse yourself. It's 100% the way that I make long life friends when traveling.
I love that.
And so, so the reason I decided to bring her up is just because, aside from the fact that I think she's so inspirational, because it takes a lot of balls to do something like that, and knowledge and courage, and you know how much you have to learn about yourself.
Yeah,
you have
to be
away
alone with yourself in different environments.
Yes, and learn about how you communicate with other people, and really like reflect on your vices. And it's just
you gotta be street smart.
You got to be street smart, book smart, all of that. You got to know about these cultures, and it's insane. And so the reason I decided to bring her up is because I think that she serves as a good example that for people, like, for example, when I started going to Rutgers, one thing that my EOF counselors would always tell me is, if you really want to study abroad and the literal only thing that's holding you back is money, don't even worry about it, just go. And so I think she serves as a really good example that there are ways around those difficulties that prevent us from traveling abroad.
Yeah.
Especially like in minority communities, for example, where they don't give you the resources to travel. Like,
they don't teach you how to like book flights. They don't teach you how to
book flights, none of that. But you also don't have the luxury to get off of work.
Yeah, exactly. You have to work to make a living, so you can't take time. You can't afford to take time off.
And so now imagine people our age. Now, let's say, for example, I work at Nike.
Yeah.
And I really want to travel, but I can't afford to leave Nike because I need to make money for... Now, let's say I have the money put away. I have the money put away. Let's say I have my money for tuition and everything, rent, everything. It's all put away already. But the only thing I'm specifically making money for is to eat, groceries and stuff like that, to maintain myself. Now, if that's the only thing to hold me back, that's holding me back. It's good to know that something like Workaway will provide me so that I could leave Nike, because Nike isn't a long life career. It's just a retail job that I'm doing. You could take some time off and still work abroad. But now you're getting that traveling experience that you want.
Workaway.
If that makes sense.
I love that.
So she says, everyone has to stop giving yourself the excuses and make the jump. More life.
Exactly.
One thing she used to always say in Guatemala, like, when in Rome, like, I'd be like, hey, Mallory, are you sure you want to do that? She's like, oh my God, when in Rome. So I feel like with traveling too, there is a lot that's holding us back.
Yeah.
And so it's often so easy to forget that it is something that's attainable, even if it's like a weekend travel domestically.
Exactly.
You could do
just
it.
Putting yourself in, a different environment and being comfortable with that.
Yeah, for a fact.
Yeah. And my
it's
dad,
so important.
Yeah, my dad would always say, like, I wish you would travel abroad. Like, I will, like, I will make whatever money, for you to get that experience. I think it's really significant when you get it young, because you're still figuring yourself out. And I don't think it's healthy for people our age to stay in one environment all the time, because you can't really grow. You have to, like, literally travel.
So in a situation where, and even still with all these opportunities, obviously not everybody has the luxury to go away, especially while in college.
Time is money.
Time is money, and money is time. Amen to that. And so, wait. Oh, no, I turned it off. I was going to play. Yes. Yeah, baby. And so, but what I was going to say is, I think the way, now you said you wanted to plan a Europe trip for after you graduate. Yeah. I think that's one of the most genius ways to do it. People that travel after they graduate high school or after they graduate college, there's specific times where you have the availability to travel, especially after such a big milestone, getting married, something like that. And so,
bachelorette, whatever it is.
Yeah, kind of saving throughout whatever experience you're focusing on. So in this case, college, saving throughout college so that after the fact, even if it's not throughout college, like, you could just start saving right now because you want to go away after you graduate. I think that's another really amazing way to do it. And again, one of the best ways to do it, because first of all, if you start planning early, you save so much more time and money.
We planned. So let me just give you like a little anecdote. me and my two best friends from home, Melissa and Erin. Erin is so good. She's like Mallory, but she's domestic Mallory. She's so good at making such trips so worthwhile in a short budget. She did Rhode Island for less than maybe $200.
Oh my
Driving there,
goodness.
rented a car for free, met these people, went off the grid. I was like, girl, you could die in any crime junkie podcast or any murder thing. Like you were the white girl that got killed, you know, but she made it so worthwhile. Her stories, like going to like taking a road trip to Rhode Island, then doing Maine, and then she's just so adventurous, and she will make it work. But she's also the type of girl who's always worked her life. She's always been a waitress, always a server. She's always had multiple jobs throughout her life, but she makes it work even on a tight budget, paying rent and everything. So she's my travel inspiration.
I love that.
And there's Melissa, whose mom is a literal travel agent, and you know, she's Portuguese. Like, she knows the whole like Eastern European era well because, you know, family's there. She travels a lot. So these two girls, that they literally came over. It was the last day of my internship in the city, and I was like, it's, you know, tomorrow's my last day. They were planning their trip. I was FaceTiming them. I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep. And they're like, no, we're coming over. We're gonna plan this. You're coming with us. Like,
Love
it can't
it.
be it without you. Like, you're coming. You can't make any more excuses. I'm like, all right, fine. They came over at midnight, the night before in my last internship. I have to wake up at 5, but we stayed up. We did a Google Doc, and we planned out like a rough draft. We're like, okay, I'm gonna start saving now. I'm like, I've been saving up, and it's like so far really good, and I just have to work all the winter break, which is fine, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm saving up for not only moving to the city after I graduate, hopefully, but also this European trip for 3 weeks in June. So it's like a goal, but again, when you have this goal and you plan early, it's just gonna be all the more worthwhile when it happens, especially after a milestone.
It just feels like such an amazing reward.
Exactly. After so long, like okay, I need this, I deserve this, and even if it goes badly, I don't care. I have people that go with the flow. Again, with people,
And so
it's the type of people you're with that makes it worth it.
Going back to one of our old episodes where we were talking about self-care, this is a form of self-care. Rewarding yourself. It makes the hustle so much more worth it.
Exactly.
Like, wow, I worked so hard, and now look at what I'm doing now.
Nothing good ever comes easy. Like,
amen to
ever.
that.
So
man.
it's the process that you like.
And so then in terms of who you're going away with, I think that friends is one of the best things you could do.
Yeah.
But so you need to know your friends. Now, let's say we're going somewhere like Thailand.
Yeah.
You could go onto the mountains.
Exactly.
You could go into the beach.
Yeah.
There's so many different activities you could do. Some people are beach people. Some people are like
outdoorsy,
campy people,
hiking. Like, snorkeling,
some people just
whatever.
want to be inside.
Or shopping or do museum galleries or food.
So knowing your friends so that you know while you're away that you could cater to what everybody's desire is. So like, y'all could all do this. This is the one activity we're going to do together, and everybody goes off. And so whatever the case is different for everybody.
I love that. So like one of my other friends, she knew they were completely different travel people. So they did, one or few things together. The rest, they had alone time. They just walked around. They were alone doing whatever they needed to do, but always on contact, obviously, to be safe. And so they had alone time. So they would do whatever they needed to do, separate and meet back in a certain time. So I think that's like a good strategy to not get in fights, because
for a fact,
nobody's going to want to do the same thing as you are unless you're soulmates. And even then, there's going to be problems.
Nobody's the same person.
Exactly.
And so Mallory just texted. She said, travel really brings out a new layer of who your friends are. It could be incredible, and it could be destructive for sure.
Same with family. Going with
same
family.
With family,
they change.
exactly.
Do you ever go back?
No, they're different people.
I hate. Like, my dad will step off the flight and he's a different person. Me and my mom,
they just get so bougie.
Here he goes again.
Oh my god, my grandmother. So whenever we go to Dominican Republic, I kid you not, it's like living with the queen. Yeah. I've never met somebody that gets so bougie the second they step off of a plane. People get different when they're abroad.
Exactly.
And I think it's a mix. It's okay and it's not okay, because it's a mix of the excitement. It's a mix of the fact that you could finally relax and be yourself.
Yeah.
There's so much that integrates into it. And so it's just so important to reflect on who you are and to really study how people act when you're away with them, because that's how you really know. Like,
exactly.
Even when I was studying abroad. So you know how I've been this past year in terms of friends. Like, I've just been so picky.
Yeah.
I put everybody like on this 3-month trial period. Like, I'm bugging out.
She's playing her own Judge Judy. Like,
no, for
her
a
own
fact.
case studies in her head.
And so, but when I was abroad, I kid you not, I studied how everybody would act during certain inconveniences. Yeah. Like, if plans had to change last minute, because that's something that happens when you're abroad too. Yeah. All the time, plans change last minute. It could be because of budget. It could be because of planning. Yeah. It could be because of weather. I studied people so hard in order to think like, I swear to God, because I think like, are you the type of person that I don't want to keep myself around, so that if the opportunity arises again where I wanted to travel and you're into traveling, I know I could hit you up like, yo, you're trying to go to ABCD?
Exactly.
Also, so that I know like, you know, I think some of the best friends that you meet abroad, the amount of people that I've met while away, like, oh my God, I have some of the coolest friends ever. Like, friends in Cuba, friends in DR, friends in Italy. Like,
Yeah.
people that I know that are safe, that I could stay with. Like, I've just met so many dope people.
It's amazing because the world is just so much bigger in your eyes. Like,
Yeah.
it changes your perspective and your personality because I'm like,
on
there's
the world,
more.
on people,
Exactly.
on the way
more.
you act. Yeah, there's just so much out there. It's insane. Like, especially so, I studied abroad through Rutgers. At Guatemala and then at Italy, 2 completely different countries. Like, you have Guatemala where I literally witnessed like slaves on a plantation. I saw literally like the middle of the earth. Like, we saw what it looks like to cut through a mountain. We saw volcanoes coming out of smoke in the morning. But we also saw like how the rich people lived in comparison to the poor. We saw what all of the corruption and invasion of Europe did to Guatemala.
Yeah.
And then right after seeing all of that tragedy, all of the hurt, the abuse, and learning about it as well, genocides, womenicide, everything. Then I went over, or femicide. Then I went over to Europe, where those were the people that caused all of that. Yeah. And it was beautiful. It was like, oh my God, I loved Europe. I was only in Italy.
Yeah.
I do plan on going back, but I was only in Italy and I loved it. And so even with that, already, like, I remember coming back like, oh my God, I just looked at everything differently. So yeah, I agree. It's just the world, there's so much out there that, like, things that you think you'd see in history books that would never happen again, that media. Are so vivid in media. I think that's another thing. Whatever you see on media, don't believe it. Go out and see it for yourself.
Exactly.
Everything looks different in person, but also
it's biased.
It's biased.
America's
it's conniving.
Yeah, you know, it's different. Like, here's what I have to. I'm just gonna say this. Like, whatever your political opinions are, like, this is like, doesn't cross that line. But I'm just saying, American media has bias against other, like, countries.
Yep.
Other countries have a bias against their countries towards other countries. Like, they'll be like, don't go to America, it's really dangerous, you know. But we'll be like, oh my God, Greece has a really big problem with refugees and, you know, terrorism and stuff. We're gonna hear all of this noise, this white noise coming from different media channels, no matter where you go. So it's not something you can really
It's just so true.
You can't really judge it unless you go. Obviously, don't go to, like, North Korea because you're not allowed.
I met somebody who went.
I think you told me the story. That's really cool.
Yeah.
How did he even get access?
Oh my God, I don't know. But granted, he's a journalist.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Oh my God, couldn't carry his phone or anything around. The things that he told me he saw was just so different.
It's really sad.
He went to North and South Korea. But anyways, continue. My bad. It's insane.
So
like, there's just so much
Obviously,
out there.
there's some travel bans you have to adhere to at different times.
Fact.
But I'm just saying, when it comes to, like, things that, you know, the media really pushes out, you can't really buy that because it's something you have to experience. My friend went to Greece and he's like, that's just all, you know, a load of, you know, bull, whatever, BS, because it's not true. People, and I loved what you said. You told me a story. You're like, people in Guatemala, though they didn't have much, they were so much happier. Yeah.
Oh my God, I've never met people so content, so happy. And then you go to, like, not for nothing, a country like America where people are almost entitled and selfish, and we're so focused, like, on these screens and stuff. Like, not for nothing, it sounds like an old person's talking, but, like, they have so little and they are so happy because they just know this bare minimum is all I need. Everything else is extra.
Exactly.
And it's so appreciated and it's a privilege and it's great. But, like, my family is what I need to feed, and I just need to grow as a person. And that's what they're focused on, just making their living, which granted, of course, they have that mentality because they don't have what other people have. They don't have a lot of resources and privileges and stuff like that. But I think that's the phone ringing, guys. There's just a light that's distracting us. I don't know. When are we going to start taking call-ins?
I don't want to pick up.
Okay. I'm going to start having a little side note. Sometime during maybe end of October,
let's do it.
I'm going to start bringing somebody in to, like, the studio during our show so they could help us do call-ins.
I love it.
So that
like,
was
our own assistant?
Wow, but don't tell them that.
Obviously not. Obviously not.
Yes.
We should do guests too.
We should do guests. We could start doing guests.
We should do guests.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm so excited.
It just started too. But no, I completely agree. I think people are so much happier when you think they're not, because, like, oh my God, oh, India is like, is filled with poverty, blah, blah, blah. We're chilling. I've been there. We're chilling.
Yeah.
We're like, people are really hardworking. School is so important. Nothing is ever taken for granted because there's obviously different people from different socioeconomic statuses, case, whatever the situation. But, you know, that's not all what Hollywood portrays when you're like, oh, it's either Bollywood or Slumdog Millionaire. Like, everyone's poor. Like, no, it's really not. I mean, people like smoke weed, people do drugs, people go to concerts. It's like any other kind of country where young people...
India looks lit. So, I'm going to tell you a little story.
Yeah.
It'll probably take 2 minutes, and then we're going to go into some music, take a break, and then we'll get right back into probably domestic traveling.
Yeah, domestic traveling.
Okay, so when I was in Italy, my phone stopped. And this has to do with India and Italy. Okay, so when I was in India... When I was in Italy...
When you were in Italy.
When I was in Italy, my phone stopped working, right? Okay, so...
That's scary.
Oh, you're telling me I traveled around, like, there was a whole language barrier. I don't speak Italian. I only speak English and Spanish and just, like, getting around and stuff like that. But, okay, so one morning, me, a different Mallory, who was also on the Guatemala trip, ironically, but me, another girl named Mallory, and Tyler, we're going to travel to Venice. We were in Bologna. We were going to go to Venice. We were going to take a train.
Okay.
My phone stopped working. I went to Apple to pick it up, and it still wasn't working. So... I'm waiting at the train station.
International Apple.
Yes, I went to International Apple, and you know my beef with Apple, so this was not easy. So now check this out. So I go to the train station and I can't find my friends. I'm like, bro, what's going on? I'm waiting, and I did the impossible. It's literally impossible to do this in Italy. I had the train conductor wait.
Yeah.
And so I delay the train. I'm waiting, and I can't find my friends. Oh. So I walk from the front of the train all the way to the back. I'm pushing, like, by people. Can't find my friends anywhere. Now I'm on my way to Venice alone. I don't know where I'm at. I can't speak Italian. I was supposed to be with my friends. I don't have any cash either.
Oh, my God.
Because they had my cash, and my phone isn't working. Cool. So basically, I'm a lost sack of potatoes.
Oh my God.
So
just one potato.
No, a sack of potatoes. A lost sack of potatoes.
Okay.
So now I'm standing, picture like an MTA. You know how they have the doors in in the subway. So long story short, I'm trying to communicate with this guy. I'm thinking that he can't speak English. He's not understanding what I'm saying. I just want to take a seat on the step. Then I have my headphones in. I'm crying, like, mid-anxiety attack, and I hear him speaking Spanish. I'm like, what? So I'm like, excuse me, ¿tú hablas español? Like, what's up?
Yay.
And he's all like, yeah, what was you saying? And I was like, hold up, because now you're speaking English. I thought you didn't know how to speak English. So cool. Long story short, we end up talking. We're sitting down. I have a picture of him. I find out that he also had... his phone stopped working, and me and him were living off like our tablets. He had just came from India. And so what this man does, he was in India. He had like the best time of his life. He was showing me videos of the food and just all these amazing experiences that like made me need to go to Italy, or my God, to India.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I need to go to India. So point is though, he tells me that, hey Mallory, so he's showing me all these videos and stuff, and I'm like, so what are you doing here in Italy with your aunt that's from Mexico? Like, what is this? And he was like, so I'm from the UK, originally from Mexico. I moved to the UK, and I make jewelry handmade. And so I travel the country, and the way I make my money while traveling is selling the jewelry that I make. And a lot of times when you're selling jewelry on the streets, you'll meet other merchants, and that's how I'll get into their factories and make additional jewelry.
500 BC,
I'm
like
not
Mesopotamia
even
type bartering.
And then he says, and the way I save money on travel is that I just travel on my bike with my book bag and my jewelry.
No way.
And so he was taking a train. He had traveled through Europe, ended up in Italy, where he met his aunt who was going on vacation from Mexico.
I'm dead.
And I'll show you the picture. He was just selling his jewelry. I wanted to buy something from him so bad.
He's really disrupting the marketplaces in every country.
So now check this out. Again, I wasn't with my friends. I'm shook, and he is disturbing the marketplace in every country. I'm shook. I'm like, yo, where's my friends? I'm hanging out with these people I don't know. They speak Spanish. It's cool. The lady, like his aunt, reminds me of my grandmother, kind of.
That's cute.
So I'm feeling like a safe vibe.
Okay, but
like,
you're still guards up.
But I'm guards up. So I tell her that. I'm like, listen, man, like, you're really... Because she was like, you know, when we get off the train, if you want, like, I'll buy you breakfast, and... you can wait for your friends. And I was like, ma'am, thank you, but like I don't know you and I don't trust people, period.
Yeah.
And she was like, honey, like if I was a bad person, you would get that vibe. Like usually when you're traveling, you know something shouldn't be going on. You get a feeling in your gut. Like, and if you get that feeling in your gut through me, let me like pay for your breakfast.
Yeah.
And I'll give you cash so you could take a cab to wherever you need to go and meet your friends.
Yeah.
Long story short, I ended up going to a cafe where there was free Wi-Fi. She literally bought me breakfast. And me waiting for the train, because I was waiting for Tyler and Mallory, I had no idea that my other friends who were on the study abroad trip were running late. And the only reason they made it to Venice was because I held the train. And so Mallory texts me. She's like, hey, like, I don't know if you know, but, like, those girls are on the train if you want to meet up with them, and we'll take the next train there. And I ended up getting to meet with those girls anyways. And so everything kind of just packaged itself up nicely.
That's so crazy.
But it was so crazy to think that, like, you know, and I feel like that little story kind of packages everything that we were talking about, because it's hard to navigate a lot of the times where you're at, regardless if you're solo or with somebody else. And so one of the most important things while traveling, in my opinion, is just trusting your gut feeling. You know when something is unsafe, and you know, like, you watch
You got to listen to it.
You got to listen to it.
And that's practice.
Facts. It's
hard. It's hard listening to, like, of having this intuition, because it's almost like a little, like, sixth sense, like, power. You have to. Sometimes you deny it. Sometimes you're like, don't trust it until later you realize, oh my God, that's why I was having anxiety attacks, or that's why there was a little panic attack.
I think that's something we're gonna get into during our horoscopes and dreams episode.
It's something really you have to practice. But trusting your gut is definitely an important thing that people need to learn. So this is Jai Wolf, Indian Summer. Enjoy, and we'll be right back.
And we're back again, everybody. This is 88.7 WRSU FM New Brunswick, and you are listening to Brunch Break with Nala and Prathigna. So we're back.
We're back. I love her little trans segues.
Right? I'm working on them. I don't know if you've realized, but I'm trying to make them a little more like funky, like talking over the music, little corny stuff like that.
I like it. It's right?
That was a nice beat to talk over.
Yeah, it's very relaxing.
Maybe I should make you're listening to, you know?
Like
I'm
ASMR.
With my voice. Oh my God, I don't like ASMR.
That sounds like an erotic romance audiobook. Like your voice.
My voice? I know. That's why sometimes I get uncomfortable when I do it.
That's what I want to do for a living.
I know. That's what you told me. Prathigna, when she was sick, was like, oh my God, I love this raspy voice. Like,
I always love my voice when I'm sick. Exactly. I can make a bank off it.
But let me know. I'll cough in your face.
Thank you.
But now domestic travel. Tell me about your experience with domestic traveling.
So I have my own beef with travel, because when I was little, I'm still directionally challenged, but
amen to that.
When I was little, I was just scared of getting lost. That's my biggest fear. I've always had these dreams where I would lose control or lose people around me, and I just couldn't find my way back home. Yeah, I think it's definitely that sounds like it's scary. So but I got over it, because you have to really immerse yourself into being uncomfortable, and that's what my internships in the city kind of helped me out with, because I was interning full-time in New York, and it wasn't a 9 to 5. Like, every week I would be going to a different borough, because we'd be promoting or positioning, New York City tourism in a positive light within all 5 boroughs, like Bronx, Manhattan, Queens, Staten Island. So I got to go to different parts of New York that normal people don't really get to see by myself. They would just, like, throw me out, just completely give me the most immersive experience. So I know my way around literally to the biggest parts and the biggest boroughs because of that experience.
Which is one of the hardest things to do in the city.
Exactly. So, yeah, you can take that one train to Brooklyn or whatever. Like, understanding the metro system is so important, because obviously each, in different countries and even in different states, metro and transportation is different. Like, Los Angeles is different, Chicago
barely exists,
and there's none. You got to Uber everywhere, and that's somewhere I don't want to go to, because I heavily rely on good transportation. But I think it's something that even Rutgers teaches you for good transportation.
Wow, that's really true.
Yeah, you gotta wait. You
have to wait. You have to learn. You have to have the etiquette of not getting onto the train or bus before people get off.
Bus etiquette, transportation etiquette, understanding that it's okay because it's out of your control. You can't freak out because you're late. Managing your time well. It teaches you a lot.
Managing your time well.
Exactly. So, New York is something I used to be so scared of the city. Now I'm falling in love with it, or I fell in love with it.
You fell in love with it,
exactly. I really just, they just pushed me on the ground. They're like, go. So that's something I'm forever grateful for. And it also gave me the courage to travel, like, over and over again. So, yeah, so that's why I definitely do want to travel domestically as well. Like, I want to go to New Orleans. I want to go to Chicago. I want to go.
I was going to ask you if you want to go to Mardi Gras this year.
That's scary.
Why?
Because it's, like, crazy time.
Everywhere
I want to go to a low-key, like, New Orleans bayou.
Okay, so now,
yeah,
if you really want, I could set us up a really dope New Orleans trip, because my boss is, like, knees deep into New Orleans. He just
really?
Yeah, he just came back from
I
there,
love
and
it.
he loves it there. He could give me the best recommendations if you
love
want to
it.
go.
Let's do it.
And not for nothing, I'm like into like the Salem witchcrafts and stuff like that. So we could
I
do
wanna go-
Massachusetts.
Salem? Nah, let's just go to New Orleans, eat the really good food, the jazz.
I'm down.
Oh my god.
Oh my god,
the
I've been
music.
listening to so much
Jazz.
jazz. I love jazz. I miss playing instruments so bad.
Oh.
If you want, we could do like a nice little weekend trip to New Orleans.
Weekend. Let's do it.
A weekend, yeah. I mean,
Let's do
we
it.
could do. Do you have classes Thursdays?
I have work Thursday. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll put that intention out there.
We're doing it. We're gonna do
we'll-
it before the year ends.
Okay,
Not
definitely.
the physical 2019 year. I meant like the school year.
The school year.
Well, so we could plan it early.
Yeah. No, for
Cool.
sure. So exactly, domestic travel and that's something you can get away with on a really tight budget. Even small trips like going to Cape May, like I did with my friends. Going from one side of New Jersey, going all the way to the tip of New Jersey. It's not that hard. You have to be around people you can really vibe with. Because being in a car with 7 girls that you don't like,
I can't
that's
even
rough.
be in a car with 7 girls I do like.
Exactly. I know.
Oh,
There's just some
nah.
people you have to put yourself around. Like, okay, I can see this person for more than one day.
Yeah.
You know? So that's the type of people you want to travel with. And again, it's so... I was going to say something because with you are from DR. So again, traveling with family and traveling with a person you like a partner or a relationship type deal versus friends, they're on different spectrums. And that's
So
something I want to
different.
unpack because traveling with my family is crazy. I don't get to do a lot of things because they have these expectations of me, as just being, dress modestly, do this, do that. Like I felt very much on a leash, maybe because when I was younger, we'd only go to India.
Okay.
And that's a very, girls have to be a little bit more modest if they're around family members. And also you notice different cultures and the way people accept different norms. You know what I mean? So
especially in different states.
Staring in India is completely normal. You can you will just be walking out and I can just stare you down and it's completely normal. But
Don't do that
here you stare at someone for 2 seconds, you get shot. I'm just
Facts.
gonna be
No,
honest.
for real.
You get beat up.
Somebody's jumping
Exactly.
you.
Someone stared at me at the bar. It was a girl, and I literally want to smack her in the face. I'm like,
You
"What are
need
you
that
looking
face,
at?"
like, hello.
I'm like, "What?" She's probably looking how my outfit was cute or whatever. I don't know, but it's you just get so offended. Inherently, you have this rage in America, but in India, you just get stared down. Oh my god, they stare down pigeons. They stare down peacocks. Staring is a thing, and I think that's why people complete that narrative of falling in love at first sight.
That's why it's so important to know locals, so that you could pick up on those little all those little forms of communications.
Yeah.
While we were in Guatemala, even the people who don't speak Spanish, you have to greet everybody, every single person in the room, give them a decent hello, look them in the eyes, shake their hand, or else you're rude and they want to kick you out the crib. And so really knowing and immersing yourself in the culture and the environment so that you don't disrespect the people that are, living day by day like that.
For sure.
And so with domestic traveling, I also think that's something that's both, you should do it for a couple of reasons. You should do it because it's beneficial to yourself. It's in terms of what do you want to do. It's beneficial in terms of how you're going to interact with people. But look up different experiences people have had in those states. Look up the different, the good restaurants. Always, I think that domestically, it's so much easier to find resources in terms of what to do, where to go, people to meet than it is internationally. And that's something that we should be taking advantage of. I was going to say, too, abroad, trains are so much cheaper than they are over here. Traveling abroad, trains are so much cheaper than over here. You could travel a country for so cheap.
Yeah.
Once you get there.
Easy.
So now imagine for the people that live there, though. It's so easy to go away. Now, over here, I don't think that's the case. It's expensive to rent a car. Gas is expensive. Plane tickets are not cheap.
Renting a car.
Getting a train is impossible.
I'm not old enough to rent a car.
Yeah,
you gotta be 25.
You gotta be 25, right? Yeah.
So,
and then in terms of who you're traveling with, after already figuring out how you're getting places, so you were bringing up your family. I've never been on a actual family trip.
You're lucky.
until like it's gonna happen at the end of this month. So this is gonna be really interesting because like my family's like in hot water right now.
Ooh.
Like so this is gonna be.
No, I think it'll blow over.
We'll see. I think so too, but we'll see. Not between me and my mom. We figured that out. But like
Everyone else.
everybody
It's
else. And
messy.
so yeah, I don't know what's gonna go on with that, and that's gonna be really interesting to unpack. But I've been away like with I've been away with my little siblings who at the time were like 2 or 3 and they're 5 and they're twins.
Yeah.
So me, them two, my like at the time like 18 or 17-year-old brother and my grandmother. And I think that was hell on earth, literally. And so
it's harder when you're little.
it is harder.
But when you're extremely little, you don't remember all the drama.
I mean, but this only happened like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So it is harder to
I meant for
travel
your
when you're
little kid, like your little brother or sister. Like it's
Facts.
easier for them because they don't notice anything.
They don't notice anything. And so now friends and family, but what about like traveling like domestically with school or alone? I don't think that people really do that.
People don't because, I mean, maybe people
It's like, I
do,
think
but
people
no one
look down
talks
on
about it.
Nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because there's like a stigma around it.
I think here's the stigma. I think, you know, the norm is like, oh, like you got your heart broken or, oh, you need a life change. Like go to Italy, go to Europe, like change your life. You know, it's more of like a cause and effect. Like something has to happen detrimentally to your life for you to do these like life-changing things rather than just going for the culture, going for, you know, like I feel like there's always some rhyme or reason, whether it has to do with, you know, love or not. I just like in Hollywood, I just like eat, pray, love kind of deal. I named this episode after Eat, Pray, Love. Like I don't know, she just like I think she just got divorced or whatever, and I don't know. She just wanted a solo trip to find yourself. I think the whole narrative of finding yourself, it's respectful, but it's like overdone. There's more to that.
For a fact.
Like find yourself for a good reason, you know, don't find yourself to find somebody.
And I think that's what, so after this, we'll take a little music break and we'll get back for like 10 minutes. But for me personally, sophomore year, I made it a thing where I want to travel more often.
Yeah.
Originally, I had said that I wanted to visit every single state before I graduate college. And then I realized how expensive that is.
And time.
And time, but it's possible in terms of time.
Really?
Like when you're a sophomore, it's so possible. We have summers.
Yeah.
We have so many breaks. You know, there's only 50 states.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to go to Hawaii or anything.
I want to go to
But
Hawaii.
I want to go to Hawaii.
I wanna go to
so
Alaska.
bad. Wow.
A
Facts.
cruise, see the Northern Lights.
Wow. Facts. But I don't even remember what I was going to say. I really want to see the Northern Lights too. That's like always been a dream.
Yeah.
That kind of threw me
Remember
off.
Brother Bear?
Yes.
That's my favorite movie.
Wow.
It's so underrated.
Oh my God. We're going to take a little break. We're going to listen to, what song is this? I can't see it.
Sainabo Say Still by Charming Horses remix.
Yeah,
And
we're back.
We're crazy on the mic, and then like the segues, we're like, "Hi, how are you?" Super gentle. So we were just finishing up the travel episode. I think we hit a lot of good points. We covered an array. Is that the word? An array.
An array.
An array.
Array.
An
I
array.
don't know. My vocab is trash. Your vocab. Whew.
I need to
Girl,
read
I was
more.
reading your writing and I was shook.
Thanks.
But that's a conversation for
Thanks.
later.
That's an ambition episode, I guess. Passion episode. But I think we were talking about just domestic travel and you looking forward to I guess not looking forward to traveling with your family. My advice would be, you're older now. I traveled when I was younger, like emerging teens, super puberty ridden and still finding my voice. So
puberty ridden though.
I think it'll be good because now you have experience with traveling, and it's just I think
I'll just walk away.
I mean,
I'm that
okay,
type
well,
of
you're
person.
already anticipating negative energy. I'm just saying.
I'm saying like in terms of like we were talking about how different people like to do different things while they're away.
Right.
And so if something is going on that I'm not vibing with, I'm about to go chill with Harry Potter. Like we're going to Universal. You can't have bad vibes at Universal. That doesn't exist. You know? Which is why I'm like, if I'm not vibing with it, I'm just walking away and I'm going to go chill with Mickey or something.
Yeah.
Do you go away for your birthday?
No, I hate birthdays.
Oh my God, I love you. Same.
I don't go away for birthdays. My family and I haven't traveled for a while. We went to Lake George, when we were younger, but that was it. We do like little trips, but I don't go away.
If a friend asked you to take a drive with them to Boston because they had to go pick something up, are you going?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be down.
So, like, to do a favor, to just go down for the drive, you're down.
I'm down. I don't like driving, but I'll go
But, like,
down
to
for
be
a
in the
drive.
car, just
But
you're literally
I
there
am
for company.
passenger seat queen. Yeah.
I love it.
I went to JFK in the beginning of this year for my friend who was picking up our, mutual friend from the airport. She was traveling abroad. She just came.
So cool.
It's incredible. She now knows that she can get away with doing things by herself and be on her own, and she felt
Such a
super
good
confident.
feeling.
It's a great feeling. She said, now I know I can travel alone, and it's like, super comfortable with it. But anyway, that was the best drive I've ever had, going all the way to JFK on a beautiful September, August, whatever day in the beginning between those months. It was gorgeous. We expected the worst drive ever. We got into JFK. We paid for some expensive McDonald's, but it was worth it. No, I love airports. We should have unpacked this. Airports
are a place to have no time zone, period.
Exactly. At airports, you can get away with anything. People were eating. It was 8 a.m. People were eating like kimchi and like fried ice cream. I don't care. Like, people can get away with so much in airports, and nobody bats an eye, because you know what? That's just.
I'm in an airport. You don't know where I came from. You don't know what I just went
who
through.
I just talked to. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
what kind of culture I got in me. Like,
yeah, the sun is rising, but in my mind, it's 9 o'clock at night. So I'm gonna eat me this fried stir fry.
Yes,
like a queen.
Yes. Exactly. Nobody cares. I think airports and weddings, people, you can't judge.
I've never been to a wedding.
Me neither, but you can't judge. Like,
you
a
can't.
Traditional, like, American
wedding.
Me too.
But nobody ever gets married. Like,
no, we don't. We can do another episode on commitment.
I talk about commitment for years.
Yeah, but that's fun. we all got a little numb. We'll definitely do an episode on commitment. Son of a gun.
I'm funny.
So you are funny. Do you have
There's
any
just a lot of shade going on for everybody that doesn't know.
Exactly.
But what's up?
Do you have any other things to unpack? Like, tie in a bun real quick about travel? Yeah.
Do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just
Nike.
do
Is that
it.
because you worked at Nike, or is it because
I used to always say it all the time. Just
Okay,
do it. Like, just get it over with. Yeah, no. When it comes to traveling, I think that it's important to remember that it's an experience.
Exactly.
You could lose money while traveling. You could get things stolen from you. You could real.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
for real.
Facts.
You could and when I say you could lose money, I mean, like, for example, what happened to me, I bought a flight and it was the incorrect date, and then I had to switch this flight and I had to add money, like, and so twice. But it wasn't technically my fault. It was definitely Alexi's fault, but that's besides the point.
Okay.
I think that it's
you
important.
can't do this because his mic is not even on to defend himself.
Exactly, that's why I love it.
Okay.
It's the manipulation.
Right.
But no, just remembering that it's all an experience. So regardless if something super amazing happens or something super bad happens, just nothing lasts forever. Take everything in, learn from all of your experiences, be willing to meet new people, try new foods.
Be open.
Talking about Mallory again, she was eating like cockroaches and stuff. Like, blech, ew.
Oh, I can't.
But it's all about stepping out of your comfort zone and trying new things. Whatever that
Anthony
is for
Bourdaining
you.
it. She was
disgusting.
I love it.
If it's skydiving, whatever it is, just if it's going to the city, even though we live right in New Jersey, whatever it is, just do it.
Every environment is completely different. Every person in a different state is so different. Like, there's culture. We don't realize, like, culture is just not about, like, crossing international waters. It's about domestic and local, places. Like, I'm going to, like, Hillsborough for, like, a thing. I don't even know what Hillsborough people are like.
What is that?
Hillsborough's a town in Jersey, like 5 minutes away. Exactly.
See, I should probably go there because I've never even heard of it.
Get out there, do different things. Start small, start big, whatever you're comfortable with. But also, again, I think the show we really fight for the idea of easing into being comfortable with the uncomfortable. Yes. I think that's that's a theme that's always been around the show and around every topic. So. And that's just life. And that's something you have to start doing when you're younger so you don't have any regrets when you're older. And traveling is one of those things. Thanks, honey.
Thank you. You're welcome, boo. And with that being said, I think we conclude this episode, which, by the way, I loved.
Yeah.
Amazing episode. We got a lot of positive feedback that I'm excited to read to you after the show. But with that being said, coming up next is Are You Entertained?
Whoop, whoop.
What's that? Beep, 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 beep. That was another sound effect that I had that I lost.
I like the air horns that come out of our mouths instead of.
Can we record it? All right. Anyways,
you're listening
I'm Nala.
Oh yeah, I'm Prathigna. You're listening to Sanaibo say Younger Kygo remix. I love her. She's great.
This is 88.7 WRSU FM New Brunswick.
Bye.
Bye.